Hey guys, John here. So I just got back with the Tundra from a very long road trip, about 5,000 miles from Florida to California and all the way back. And in this video, I want to tell you everything good and bad that I experienced with this Tundra on that road trip. Okay, so this truck is super filthy inside and out, but we will start with the good first, and the good being the powertrain. Guys, this thing was so comfortable to drive almost 5,000 miles to and from California from where I am in Florida. So the powertrain was absolutely awesome. It moved the 35s fine all through the hills. The average temperature was probably 92 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside, so no issues at all with the truck. We had the AC blasting when we needed it to. No issues with the powertrain, and on average, I reset the trip coming back from California, and on average the whole way back the truck sat at 16.0 miles per gallon. I'm not recalibrated or anything yet for the 35s, and that was about probably 70 to 80 miles an hour average with the truck. So on the way back, got 16 miles per gallon, and the powertrain was super good. We're gonna go on to the inside because that is where the positives continue. The seats, 5,000 miles pretty much. We're at like 4,800, so I'm rounding up to 5,000, but the seats, guys, did not break down at all. Honestly, very comfortable. I did that same drive in a 2014 Silverado about 6 years ago, and I remember in that truck being a bit uncomfortable, but the seats in this Tundra were super comfortable, and I think it helped too being comfortable because of the heated seats. So we did turn on the heated seats every once in a while to kind of loosen up the back a little bit. So the heated seats were the next thing that was good. The only issue, and I'll throw in a bad thing since I'm talking about the seats, is these seat controls are super close to if you have anything in the door. So if you had water bottles or anything right here and you wanted to adjust your seats, which you typically wouldn't on a 30-minute drive because the seats are just however you want them to be, but if you had anything here like I did, I had sunflower seeds, a cup, and all this crap there, and I wanted to adjust the seats, they are like super close to that. So I think that was a little bit of an oversight. Just if you had stuff in there, your hand gets kind of close, at least where I had my seat positioned to do those controls. So that was another thing that was good on the inside. Another thing too, coming to the comfort on the inside, is the back. We had our dogs in here. I had a cooler down here in front of the seat, and there were tons of room, and the dogs were super comfortable to be in the back of the truck on that whole drive. The whole storage situation on the truck was great. Even leading into the back to the deck system, we had some totes back here, dogs, kennels, and the deck system, it rained, it performed good. Nothing on the inside. We had all of our clothes, dog food, all the stuff up in here, and none of it got wet at all, so the deck system performed as needed. So I missed one more thing up front inside the cab, and that was the 14-inch screen right here. So we had, again, the Benizzi CarPlay thing. I put in a SD card into that. I have a video on it. I will link it up in the iCard up above. But this little dude, I had a memory stick in it. We downloaded a bunch of stuff on Netflix, bunch of stuff on Amazon, and we're able to just have that all going on the screen right there when we were up on the freeways. And yeah, not really paying attention to it too much while driving, but again, just when you have a whole bunch of nothing going on for 8 to 10 hours, it was pretty nice to have. So those were pretty much all the goods. I mean, the truck did exactly what it was supposed to do. The longest we drove one day was 16 hours, didn't have anything pop up on the dash, no powertrain issues, no check engine lights, nothing. This truck was solid. So basically our trip was from Florida to Texas to Arizona to Vegas to San Diego to Tucson to Texas again and back here, and the truck did not skip a beat. There is a annoying thing with the truck where it beeps at you if you don't turn off the sway control, and it says, hey, would you like to take a break? So I was able to turn that off and kind of forget about it, and the truck basically ran for 14 hours one day in 95-degree weather. And when I even filled it up at the gas stations too, I just kept it running to keep the AC on. So definitely putting the truck to its limits of, basically being on for 14 hours and driving and asking a lot out of the truck, and it did not skip a beat. So now let's get into some of the bad guys. And before you go into the comments and say, well, John, this is your fault. You have your truck lifted. It's on 10-ply tires, whatever. I get that. But it's the wind noise. The wind noise, yes, I'm lifted, so I know I'm going to get a little bit more, but what I'm talking about with the wind noise is for some reason, and maybe it's just because these are zero offset 12 wide tires, and maybe I'm getting a little extra wind noise coming this way that I shouldn't, but on both the driver's side and the passenger side over there, these windows shift. They literally shift in place. Not sure what it is, but it is very annoying, and you can kind of see it right here. They flex, like, listen. They flex right here. I'll insert a clip right here too.
Yeah, that's the window shifting. So you can hear it. Not. Hear it. Not with pressure on it.
And you guys could see in here that you heard the window shifting. I put my hand on it to give it some pressure to stop shifting. It stopped. Took my hand away. It started doing it again. So not sure if that is from my tires and that's self-induced. I hope it's not, but I don't think even if you have a truck lifted like this, that window should literally be shifting in place. Another downside, and it's not even Toyota, it's WeatherTech. Look at these WeatherTech floor mats. Again, they started peeling up. Kind of annoying. I've like pushed them down and let them melt in the sun, but they keep getting caught under the door right here. You can even actually see where it's rubbing on the door when it's shut. So these WeatherTech floor mats, I'm pretty much done with them. The back seat, it doesn't work at all for some reason. Rather annoying for these WeatherTech floor mats. The next thing on the inside, I touched on it a little bit earlier. These seat controls, they're kind of in the way of if you have a water bottle or anything right here. That's a little bit of an annoyance, but it is the sway control. So if you are driving your vehicle for a while, it starts at about 2 hours or so, and the truck asks you, hey, would you like to take a break? So that's perfectly fine with day-to-day use. You're typically not driving your truck daily 2 hours every single time, but it is a little bit annoying because when you turn it off, you can go into the lane departure settings in the truck. You can turn it off so it stays off. So like when I ran my truck for 14 hours straight, that is just because I turned it off and I wanted it to stay off. For some reason, when you turn the truck off and then back on, it resets that thing every single time. So if you're road tripping and you don't want that thing going off, on and off all the time, you have to go into your lane departure settings and turn sway control off every single time. Another issue too that I have particularly with my truck, even with the windows rattling, is my center console. I did rectify this a little bit, guys. Prior to the trip, I put these little felt pads on it, and it bridges the gap between the plastic and this plastic. So the plastic from this and this, it does not really rattle anymore. So super solid, but there are a little bit of rattles in my Tundra. It is an SR5. I know that higher end models are a little bit more refined than this, but some of the creaks and rattles definitely did identify themselves a little bit more when sitting in the truck for about 12 to 14 hours every single day. And the last pro, and I will also make it a con at the same time, just because of what they are the tires. So the pro with these tires, these Nitto Ridge Grapplers, is that they are so quiet. These things look incredibly aggressive. And they are very, very quiet on the road. Very, very, very minimal just tire whine at all for how aggressive these things are. They're a hybrid tire, so they're both all-terrain and mud terrains at the same time. They are so, so good. But the downfall is that these are E-load ratings. So they're 35 by 12.5, and unfortunately, the only ones that Nitto has right now are 10 plies. So 10 plies are honestly way too much for a half-ton truck. This Tundra is a bit lighter than the outgoing model, so when I started to get into the West Coast more, and then when we went from Arizona up into Vegas, those roads are absolutely atrocious. Now, I do have 45 pounds in these tires, so when they heated up, it was probably about 55 pounds, which when I was talking to Jeff Westcott, he said that's about 10 PSI too much. So what I'm getting at is the ride was a little bit aggressive on some very bad maintained roads, and that's self-induced again, because these are 10-ply tires. So the thing that I have learned with when I get my TRD Pro Tundra is to maybe go with like an 8-ply tire. That way it's not a super heavy tire, very aggressive kind of tire riding wise. But the pro to these Nittos is that they were so quiet. They're so refined. They're freaking awesome tires. But just the choice of the 10-ply for this particular truck, I probably wouldn't do again. Overall, super happy. The only thing really that was of any concern was just the window shaking a little bit. And I'm going to follow up with my dealers on that, because I know some people on the Facebook page said that they had to have their windows like reset. So apparently it is a problem with these, and those dudes did have a stock truck. So even though I do have bigger tires, that could be a little bit of a culprit to the problem. Some dudes were saying that, hey, I have a stock truck, my thing does the exact same thing on the Facebook page. So that's just an update, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. See you later.